11 pro-lifers are allegedly arrested for, oh, wait, no. They were arrested for allegedly blocking the gateway into an abortion clinic. Are you confused by my title? Not half as confused as these people were.
Can you just take those 11 people and put them on a ledge and push them off?
That'd be all on a ledge. And then where's Lee come in?
I don't know.
The General Lee. Right? Yeah, like, yeah, the car from that whatever show, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Man, like this is like top-notch podcasting right here.
Yes. Not how many non sequiturs in the first 10 seconds?
I know it's obscene. But I'm looking at what these people did right now. This is the thing that started in February of 2021. You had this group of people, 11 of them, that were just trying to bar people from getting into an abortion clinic. And this goes against a federal law that specifically says that you cannot prevent people from having access to a healthcare clinic. Doesn't matter if you think an abortion clinic is healthcare or not, it is legally defined as such. And so, keeping people from getting in is illegal.
Right.
And there's not really a lot more to say about that, except for what I'm about to say.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
If you like the show, send us an email.
Oh, I'm not drunk enough to behave like this in public. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, my initial reaction to this is like, what were you people trying to accomplish? Because blocking the entrance of a single abortion clinic in Tennessee is not going to really limit the number of abortions that are happening. And from my limited point of view, which is, pretty limited, but still, it looks like a lot of what we've seen so far in the evangelical world, where you have a lot of this performative religion. It seems like they're doing this for no other reason than to just like virtue signal to other pro-lifers like, hey, we're with you.
Oh, no, I don't believe that for a second.
No? What do you think?
I believe that they wholeheartedly believe that if we just save one baby, then we will earn God's favor, right? It'll be job well done, mission accomplished,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I think they're thinking that way. Like, the ends justify the means. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter if, what laws we break. It doesn't matter that we are using intimidation as a weapon. If we just save one baby, that's what it's all about. That one baby. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah,
these are zealots. These aren't. Yes, there's a performative part to it. Yes, there is, for sure. But these are the zealots. These are the cults.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, zealot, I think, is a good word for it. But at the same time, like, it still seems performative to me, because it's like, you're not actually accomplishing anything. You're getting out there just to like basically be ragey at the world. A world that, mind you, like we've talked about before, the Apostle Paul was really clear about is not our role to judge what they're doing.
Yeah, but pastors don't care about what the Apostle Paul has to say.
Well,
you know what I mean?
N.T. Wright does. And of course, he's not a regular pastor. He's just, a very caring individual who loves Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, so what does he know?
Right. Yeah. I think performative can cover a lot of descriptive mileage. And
it's kind of vague, I think, maybe.
Right. And I think it's like, to me, it's more accurate to say that the people who tend to block other people's access to abortion clinics, it's lowest common denominator thinking, right? This is literally the thinking of balls and strikes. Like they're literally like let's see how many of us we can get out there blocking these young girls, and they are young girls for the most part. Let's see how many young girls we can intimidate and make them walk away. And let's see how far we can run up the scoreboard. you know?
It's like, look how many girls we forced to have come back next Thursday.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
like,
once again feeds into this American mentality we have of competition. It's the competition of it that's really kind of that gives everybody that dopamine hit. We won the competition. We won. We got that girl to turn around. We got that girl to get back in her car and drive away. You
yeah,
know?
but faith is not meant to be a competition. It's like, oh, my worldview I used to beat you out in your worldview. It's like, that's not how it's supposed to go.
Right, but we act the way that we learn. Right, we learn this behavior from somebody, and usually in a faith world, that somebody is the pastor. How many pastors do you know that don't like to win the arguments they're in? I don't know any personally.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So we live the way we're taught to live, and our pastors teach us to win at all costs.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say all pastors, but pastors very do often
Yeah.
do that. Especially if your pastoring is embedded into American culture, it's not going to be what Jesus taught because Jesus wasn't an American. Sorry to inform you that,
Yeah.
but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now I kind of had this weird dark thought about what these people are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, some people will agree, but I was almost wondering, was their intent not to actually do anything to like fix problems with abortions or to, take care of babies that deserve to live? Because heaven forbid they should have to do any work. But I was wondering, like what if their intention was actually to provoke pro-choicers into becoming aggressive? Like, what if they were out there not to do anything other than to try to initiate a fight?
Yeah, so then you're talking about like the zealots of the zealots.
Right. Like, let's try to get this, like, let's try to get them to attack us so that way we can play the victim now. Like, it occurs to me that could be because too much stuff that I've seen very fanatical Christians do has been to like give them some sort of ability to play the victim, and then to like they can be like, oh, look at me, I get the moral high ground because I'm the one who's being victimized. Like, but you brought it on yourself.
Yeah. That I wonder about that. Do you think it's more that, or do you think it's just like if I can get somebody to attack me, that can be like my 15 seconds of TikTok fame, or maybe like my 15 seconds of Fox News fame?
I think it could be that as well. Like they're hoping for that fame.
Yeah.
Because certainly what's his name, little Dorcas who decided to like travel across straight lines with a rifle to go protest people,
Yeah.
ended up shooting somebody to death.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name because I think we all know his name. Like that's a guy that like is still doing like speaking events that people will bring him to.
Yep.
Like, like he was some sort of a hero or champion, taking another human's life because of a thing he didn't have to do in the first place. Is
Yeah.
not a Christian thing.
Yeah.
But Christians are like, oh, come and talk about your experiences. It's like as a positive thing.
Tell us about how hard this was for you. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Tell us about how hard this was for you. Like, okay. No, off topic. I'm stopping.
I know,
Back
but it's
to
like,
the
it's still like, but
Yeah.
like there is like that there is a culture, and it's
Yeah.
within, unfortunately, a lot of evangelical culture to support this kind of thing where it's like, oh, now you get to play the victim and then get your message heard more, and
Yeah.
I have a very low view of the type of people that go out and do this kind of thing. So maybe I'm just like allowing that to really color how I'm interpreting their motives.
Yeah.
But even if I'm trying to like be the nicest about it, I'm kind of like, well, you're still going outside of what the Bible says we need to do.
Yeah. I think there's another element to this as well.
Mhm.
We like, I think wokeness is fine. I think that the striving to always be better is fine. I think an idealistic mindset by young people is fine. That push to always, be something that will never be. I think that's all fine,
Mhm.
right? And so we have this conservative Christian mentality that pushes back against the aspiration to the ideal, right? I think like when Christians, the church, dislike the rest of the world so much that they start they start with intimidation, and then they ratchet up to provocation, and then they ratchet up to violence. I don't think it's hard to for American agnostics and atheists and people of other faiths to look at Christians and kind of go, yeah, it's the birth of terrorism in America, quite frankly.
Yeah, and there was another article that came up in the feed, and it was talking about how like the use of this category of heathen has kind of been historically used, for the basically to kind of paint anybody who's not a white Christian as some sort of backwards,
Oh, okay.
subhuman kind of a thing, right?
Okay, got it. Okay.
And like, I think there's a lot of that. Like I think that article didn't go kind of in how, like, enough, at least, how the word, heathen has been kind of transformed into unbeliever in the modern church. So it's like, when you have Christians who can look at somebody who's the kind of person that would go out and get an abortion, like, well, somebody in a bad situation.
Yeah.
But it's easier if you can label that person as, an unbeliever or, a heathen or something like that. You can turn them into a villain. You can turn them into a demon.
Yeah, I think we do that with the word heretic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm positive that most Orthodox Christians would look at me and say Scott's a heretic. Just the idea, like you said before, like that. In a previous episode, you said that Christianity is kind of an opt-out, right? It's not opt-in, it's opt-out. Like that, by many, would be viewed as a heretical statement, And I know that I fall far more to the heretical side than you ever would, and so I think we do the same thing.
Don't be so sure.
I think we definitely use words, obviously, to create us and them mentalities. It's just now what makes things different is the lengths we'll go to punish the them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we are now in the stages of this society where there are real repercussions to not being a Christian. In Tennessee, they just changed the license plates. And so you can buy a license plate. So you have two choices when you go to get your standard Tennessee license plate. You can check the box that says, I want the license plate that says, "In God We Trust." Or I can check the box that says, I don't want the license plate that says, "In God We Trust," right? And what they've done is, if you get "In God We Trust," you get the letters before the numbers. And then if you don't get the "In God We Trust," you get it the other way around. So now law enforcement knows your religious affiliation just by seeing your license plate.
Or at least they know whether or not you're generally theistic.
Right. And
like,
so, like,
what kind of, like, is this, like, just, I don't have words that are nice to say about this.
Right,
I mean,
but these are people in political power who have a Christian affiliation, who wants to be able to mark and to mark and to track the activities of non-believers.
Yeah, and I feel like a broken record whining about Christian nationalism over and over and over again, but that's Christian nationalism. And we need to stop treating people that aren't Christians as if they're subhuman or less than in some way, because maybe they're just upset because they're not allowed to publicly do that to black people. So now they just want to do it to people that aren't Christians. Or maybe I'm just,
I think it's the opposite. I think it's that right now Christians are winning a lot of fights, especially in political fights. And so now they are just running the ball as far as they can before the game gets called,
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I tell every Christian: play with your balls somewhere else.
Nice.
Because I've had enough of it.
Yeah, it really is. I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I love democracy. I love the idea that I get to think what I want and you get to think what you want. As long as we're not hurting anybody else, it's totally fine. And I mourn the idea that we are steadily moving towards the death of democracy by wanting to punish people simply for what they believe.
Yeah, it's obscene, because if an atheist had proposed a law that would basically, flag your car in some obvious way,
Yes.
whether or not you're an atheist. Holy,
Holy crap. Yep.
what every Christian in this country, and probably most of them around the world, would have stood up as one and been like, what now?
Yep.
Like, okay, like, how about like, we want a yellow star to pin to their jacket too? Like, come on. Like, that's some like Hitler grade nonsense.
Yeah. Let's bring it back around though. Let's bring it back around
Yeah.
because we are running a little bit long for our new time standard. I want to ask you the question. So we are the church, and we do care about life, and we do care about abortions. So how do we contend for what we think is right without going off the deep end and just becoming jerks?
I'm going to have to go with Jesus saying, love your enemy, love your neighbors yourself. If we go and we, I don't want to say attack these people with love, but wage love, not war.
Yeah.
If it to say that, like, wage love, provide the help that people need. If you don't want somebody to get an abortion, offer to adopt their baby, offer to help them out of, probably oftentimes poverty. Be that there. Stop. Don't sit there and try to physically block people from getting into a clinic and intimidating them, because that's not how Jesus has ever worked.
Yeah.
Like, be Jesus. Love these people.
I agree. I'll just add to that it is okay for Christians to be extravagant, but don't be extravagant with your laser light show or by your 10th campus or by your fitness gym facility. Be extravagant with your love. Be extravagant by how much you care for people and want what's best for them. And be extravagant with the way that you're the person willing to reach out to lift somebody out of the hole they're in. Be extravagant that way, And I think that kind of extravagant love is what changes people's minds.
I think you are right. 100%.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop this conversation, though, while you agree that I'm right, because I don't get that.
Probably best.
Right. Yes, exactly right. And say that this is Church is Lame, where we talk about how to fix the church by talking about the stupid things churches do that break the entire body. So if you're watching this, by all means, we'd love to hear from you. Click those buttons, those thumbs ups and those likes and subscribes, and leave us comments. And if you want to get a message to us post haste, send us a email to churcheslamepodcast@gmail.com.
And with that, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.